thank you.
Is that good?
Yes.
Can you see?
Yes. All right, so today we just finished up working on our habitats and animal papers, and we're going to transition into writing papers about the planets. But before we jump into that, I want to introduce you to a new strategy that we're going to use while we write these papers. So when we write informational papers, sometimes we're going to have a lot of facts that we have to include, and we may not know the answer to those facts or what that one is. So what we can do so we can just write fast and keep going in our paper is add the letters TK anywhere we know that we're going to add more later. So for the example, if I have my paper that I wrote about sea turtles, and I have sea turtles live around, I don't know where they live around, so I just put TK. So I have it where I want it in my sentence, in my paper, but I'll add that information later. So then I move to my next one. They like to eat sea grasses and algae. So that was a fact that I did know. So I went ahead and just put that in there too. So I have that sentence where I want it. So then I have sea turtles live to be, I don't know how old they live to be. So I'm just going to put TK, and that's going to remind me to go back to it later and find the answer to that and then just plug it in. So when we're writing, we're going to use this, but we're going to practice it together before we do it on our own. So the first thing that I'm going to have you do is we are going to practice with our planets because that's what we're going to do next. So I'm going to have Sarah draw a planet. All right, what planet did you draw?
Mars.
Mars. All right, so we're going to write about Mars. Do you guys know any facts about Mars?
It's hot.
Yes, good job. That is a really yes.
It's red.
Yes, so you guys know some facts, and when you're writing your paper, it will be great to just include that in there. But what we're going to do is I'm going to give you guys some questions that you might want to include when you write your paper. And first, I'm going to have you pick one, and then we're going to work on them. All right. Oh, I'm not even thinking. Okay, so go ahead and look at your question and think about if you know what that fact would be. Oh,
I'm just kidding.
okay. So now you're each going to get a sentence strip and go ahead and pick a marker. And then,
Oh.
here you go. And then I have a sentence strip for you. All right, so our planet is Mars. And I'm going to show you how I do this one. So if I have, how long does it take for Mars to revolve around the sun? I don't know that. So that's a fact I'm going to look up later. So I'm just going to write, it takes Mars, and I'm going to capitalize it because it's the name. And I'm going to put TK and circle it. I don't know how long it takes to, and I'll finish my sentence. All right, so another important thing is I want to make sure it's a complete sentence. Sometimes when we do our outlines, we just put little sentences super quick just to remind us what we're going to write about. But for this, I want you to use real sentences. So I start with my capital and I end with my period. And now I want you guys to take the fact that you drew and write your sentence. And then when you're finished, I'll have you come up and tape it to the wall. And then we'll go through it all together. Great. Sarah, are you finished with yours?
Yes.
I will have you go ahead and bring it up, and we will tape it to the wall. We'll give you 2 pieces of tape. Yes. All All right, Hannah, are you finished with yours? Put that up here. I'll have you go ahead and bring yours up, and we will tape it to the wall. Very nice. All right, Abby, are you finished with yours?
Yes.
Awesome. We'll have you tape it to the wall. Piece for the other side. All right, Kyle, are you finished with yours?
I believe so.
All right, bring it up here and we will tape it to the wall. All right, there's that one. All right, so we did a really good job with our sentences. And we are going to go through this together. So this could be kind of the format that we use when we write our paragraphs in our papers. So we have the layout of what information we want to include, even if we don't know what the fact is. So let's go through it together. So we did mine. So we have the nickname for Mars is, and that's okay. So that's going to remind us that we need to look up the nickname and we need to find it later. So then we have the diameter of Mars is, we don't know. And that's okay. We have our sentence in our paper where we want it, so we know that that's where it's going to be, and we'll come back later and add the information. So then our next one is there are TK, moons around Mars. So we know we're talking about the moons, but we don't know exactly how many, so we just put TK there. So then we have Mars rotates counterclockwise. All right. So we have the TK here too, so we know this is what we're going to come back to and take a look at later. So this is kind of the format that we can use when we're writing the paper. Do you guys have any questions?
Yes. Why is it TK?
Okay, so that is the weird part. So it stands for to come, but come starts with a C. So the book has it as a K. So that's kind of the weird part about it, but it's supposed to like remind that you're going to come back later. So that's what we have there. You guys have any other questions about this?
If we're typing it, would you have them like highlight the TK like you did
Yes.
right there?
So you can highlight it, and then another way that you can do it is add extra spaces and put that. But I really like the highlighting because it really helps it stand out. So you can come back to it later and know that it's there. Because sometimes when we don't highlight it, then we get lost. Like I get lost, so I'll have a hard time. Like I might do something and totally forget that I put that in there. So that's a really good visual. So now that we've practiced it together, I'm going to let you guys go ahead and practice it on your own. So each one of you are going to draw a planet, and then you're going to write your own with different information that you think should be included and what facts that you think should be included in it, and then we'll read them together. And we are... Okay. I was like trying. Oh.